There were almost 90 young men and women in the DHS class of '61. 18 of our classmates have died since then, but the rest of us have lived another 50 years to tell the story.
Look at these fresh young faces, full of expectations and plans for the future. Anything's possible when you're 18 years old and have a diploma from Dublin High School. David already had his bags packed to go to the Navy when we graduated. Sadly, he wasn't destined to live a lot longer. He died in a car crash in California within a year of graduation. He was a good friend and a good old boy. I've heard that a lot of women thought he was hot. Bobby never met a stranger, and everybody he met liked him immediately. He was one of the best salesmen there ever was and led a productive life, fathering 2 fine children. He was tragically killed in a house fire several years ago. Marion Hall was probably thinking about having a good time in those days. He published a great article in the Hurricane about killing one of his daddy's hogs with a spear like he had seen them do in a Tarzan movie. He did, however, go on to lead a very productive life and eventually became head of the Diesel Technology Department at the Heart of Georgia Tech College before leaving this world for good a few years ago. Patsy spent a lot of time cruising the Strip with Sam, Rose, Virginia. Back in the old days, who would have thought she'd go on to become Dr. Hill and be the director of the Lawrence County Health Department for many years? I know for a fact that T. Holmes was already thinking about his military flying career when we were in high school. In a few short years, he would be a Marine helicopter pilot, flying medevac missions in Vietnam. He had the distinction of being shot out of the air and treaded water in the South China Sea for 45 minutes while wearing his flight suit. The rest of his life has got to be gravy after that one. One thing that isn't widely known is that the cargo on that mission has been 40 cases of Budweiser, which is an absolute survival necessity for a squadron of Marines. Tommy Curry's life was cut short in a car crash while he was still in college. It's such a terrible waste when a person dies at that age. Ben Hall and Tommy were very good friends, and Ben told Earl once that dealing with Tommy's death taught him to deal with grief at an early age. You can't mention Bobby Gay without thinking about the old Lawrence County Jail. It sat on the courthouse square right next to the bus station, and Bobby spent a lot of time there because his daddy was the sheriff. I think it was the only jail in Georgia with a swimming pool. The inmates now didn't get to swim in that pool, but they could stare out through the bars and watch Bobby and Delmas entertaining their girlfriends. While Hardy B. Watkins was not officially a member of our class, he did sell most of us our first beer. I think it was Country Club malt liquor in my case. Hardy was the car hop at the Chatterbox out on 441 South, and no discussion of the 1960s in Lawrence County would be complete without mentioning him. Kay Waldrop is another classmate who is no longer with us. She wrote a beautiful piece for the Hurricane back in December 1960, so she can speak for herself. Here are a few excerpts from the article. As I, a senior, go out into the world, I will take many memories of Dublin High School with me. None of these memories, however, has made such a deep and lasting impression as the pep rallies. Somehow I never seem to feel as much a part of things as I do when I sit in a pep rally, surrounded by a whole school of friendly young people, all there for one purpose, to support our school. These are the memories I will look back on most in later years. I'm awfully glad I can say that I'm from Dublin High School. Kay was also our star student. Big Henry Watson was from up north, sort of a Connecticut Yankee and a nest of Georgia rednecks, but I think he enjoyed being in our class, and our class certainly enjoyed him. He was very vocal in his opinions about the South and about things in general. He was convinced that he knew more about Miss Macbeth than Mrs. Powell did. If you were in Atlanta in the mid-'60s and looking for a party, all you had to do was stop in to see Sam or Rose or Virginia. There was always something going on at one of their apartments, Party Central, and you could always count on meeting someone interesting there. Jenny died a few years ago after a long battle with cancer, but she certainly sucked the juice out of life while she was here. Rose and Sam are still kicking, but I think they've slowed down just a little bit. It's about time.